All right, Mo, your friend might have it twisted here again. I think we are defining incorrectly what a line in the sand day truly is compared to an ultimatum. And I think your dude might be going through this.
So, yeah, he has found himself right at that line in the sand, apparently, and he is trying to figure out if it is worth to actually go across that line and continue this relationship, or should he just let her go altogether? And now the line in the sand date, as far as I know it, right, Bert, I've gotten this from you. I believe you have labeled it the invisible line in the sand date, which that is when someone will say, I have this date in mind that I need this to happen, whether it's an engagement or whatever it is. And if it does not happen by that day, I'm leaving this person. No questions asked.
And the other person doesn't know about this line in the sand date. Now, to be fair, you've had conversations with them about where you want this relationship to go and what you want in a relationship. So in this case, if it's marriage, you guys have had the talk. Like, it's important for both of us to be married, or at least for me to be married. So that is already established. Now, if they don't reach that mental line in the sand day that you have, then you just take off. It's not an ultimatum. They don't even know about it. But you've already expressed this is what you want.
So here's where my dude is giving some pushback to that theory and that logic. Now, in his case, it's not an invisible line in the sand date because she let him know what the date was.
Okay.
It was very visible.
Now it's an ultimatum.
So you think that does change it?
Yes.
Okay. So, well, I guess in this case, then, she gave him an ultimatum. So they have been dating for a little over 6 months. And at first, he didn't really want to be serious with her because he just got out of a very, very long-term relationship, over a decade. He doesn't know the first thing about dating and getting back out here, not his thing. But he came to me and was like, I got to start getting back out here and dating. And he did. We've traveled together. We've done a lot together, and he meets her. And I've always kind of found that a lot of the time when you don't want to meet somebody and when you are really set on trying to work on yourself, figure things out, and it's the last thing you want to do, you meet somebody that challenges that mentality.
That's funny how the universe works. That's what I was trying to tell you a couple of months ago. As soon as you say to yourself, look, for the next 60 days, I don't want anything to do with dudes, they will start. It's like a magnet. They smell it, Abby.
But I have done that before, and it still doesn't work. I just think men don't want me.
I feel like we did it with you for like a week, and you're like, all right, then I went to a bar with 7 girls, and we started looking for dudes.
It took a while for him. It was like about a year, but that wasn't enough time for him. And this is where timing, they always say timing is very important when two people meet. Because in her life, it's understandable where she's coming from and what she wants because she's been single for a while, and she's been looking for that guy to share the rest of her life with. But in his life, he's just got out of this really, really long-term relationship. Now, at first, he was like, we're going to keep this casual. This is what it is. I don't want anything more. At some point, especially as his friend, I could see you're fighting this. Like you like her. You like her enough to actually challenge the fact that you thought you wanted to be out here single for a long time. So the transition was happening, but I don't believe it was happening fast enough for her because she wanted more and she wanted it now.
Okay.
And so she made that clear to him and told him, you have until this specific date. It was a very specific date. Like, I don't know why this date, but that was the date he got.
And again, this is 6 months now they're dating. That's it. 6 months.
6 months. So I think in her mind, at the 6 month point, where are we? What are we doing? Like, are we going to continue this? Because I don't want to waste my time. And I understand it. But in his mind, it's been 6 months. Mm-hmm. I don't really have that answer yet. So when I went to him and said, well, what do you want to do? Because I don't think it's completely unfair for her to ask the question. And he disagrees with me because he feels like he doesn't like the line in the sand date. And this was interesting to me because he feels like two people should be able to have it. So what he's saying is he understands that she has a date where this has to happen to her. But then what does that mean about his line? Does his line now become irrelevant and unimportant? Because in his mind, yes, I actually do like you enough to where I may consider going down this direction with you, but I'm simply not sure yet. It's only been 6 months.
Yeah, I think timing really is. I know it's a cliche, but, you know, the old romantic, the Hollywood definition is love will conquer all. I maybe because I'm getting a little on the older side, I don't believe that. I think there are a lot of things that come into play, and timing, I think, is number one. So their timing just might be off.
So he feels like he wants to walk away simply for the fact that she made this an ultimatum situation, even though he likes her, even though he actually feels like it's working and he can see a future in it. In his mind, if you're not going to be able to understand that I was in such a long relationship and I just need a little more time, because I have my own time that I'm on, I need more time to figure out if I am even ready to be in such a serious relationship. And if you're not going to give me that time, then why do I have to respect your time?
Here's the thing. If he is still recovering from this last relationship, he shouldn't have gotten into this one to begin with. So if he really does need more time, so like let's say that's 3 months or 6 months, he just wants to give it a good year, you can have that time, but you got to do it without me, because then I'm compromising who I am. If I really want to be in a serious relationship and I know I want you, but you're still not sure about me, or you're not ready to offer me the things that I want, that's totally fine. But then I got to step out, and then you can come back to me when you're ready.
So here's where I would challenge you on that. In his mind, that's fair, but she established that when she was ready, not when he was ready, because she didn't say that in the beginning. In the beginning, they were both completely okay with the situation being casual, which is how they got to where they are. But then she decided, enough casualness for me. It stops now, to whereas he's not ready. So why does her line the only one that matters?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it was a very, hey, let's sit down and talk about a date that works for both of us type thing. It was like, this is what I want. I hope you fit into my puzzle. And now he's going back and saying, I guess I don't fit into your puzzle.
And he figures he should let it go as opposed to, I guess, being patient.
Unless he goes back to her and says, I'm going to let you know right now that that date's not going to work for me.
Like, that's what he did.
Okay.
So I guess now the ball's in her court on whether or not she is going to have some leniency in it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think she's got to take a step back. I think she's got to do what's best for her.
The Bert Show.